Wow, what a day, what a day. Had thought about utilizing a lot of information up here about being an investor and what we do, but you've heard a lot today. And frankly, I learned a lot today because in particular, novel foods is a really interesting topic that we're having to discover what that really means here throughout Europe. So anyways, I wanted to start by introducing myself. My name is Matt Nordgren, founder, CEO of Arcadian Capital. We're happy to be here because our firm is moving into Europe now. We're launching Arcadian Europe, and boy, we couldn't be more excited about it. Our investors really have encouraged us. A lot of support there. But the first thing I think we want to do, talk about this industry. This is an industry where we create a safe space for other people to thrive. No judgment. Wouldn't the world be a perfect place, actually, if in fact we didn't judge anybody for anything they ever did? There might not need to be a room for an apology even then, because we're all connected through a collective conscious like this plant. Did you know back in the time when the dinosaurs all were wiped out from Earth, there was nothing left? Everything survived through a fungal network, frankly, through mycelium and other plant matters. And so if you really think about it, whether you believe in God, which I do, or you believe in science, either way, there's a collective conscious. So in this room, no judgment. And this is a community that we're excited to pour into. Frankly, excited about the companies here. Man, downstairs, a lot of cool companies, particularly, and here's our friend Giada. By the way, you guys should get to know her. She's a hell of a female leader in this space. There was one booth that was like a neon, I don't even know, it was like a color room or something. Felt like I was at a spa. Man, you guys are doing it right over here. So many good people downstairs. As an investor, we're not judging people, we're getting to know them. Creating a safe space for people to thrive. One of our not even competing companies I was talking with downstairs a little bit ago. And, there is no competition in this space. It hasn't institutionalized yet. We're all here to support each other. That's what we're here to do, and I want to start this conversation with that type of energy. Also, thank you, Alex. Are you in here? You might be out running the conference, which is a good thing to do. But you've built this community. I've spoken here before. It's been a lot of years. Been a lot of years for us to do anything, I guess, wouldn't you say? But here we are. And the world's healing itself, and we're going to be a big part of that. And thank you all for pouring into it. Thank you, ICBC, for doing that as well. The first thing, then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Arcadian, and we're going to play a video. And this is something we believe in. Can everybody in here just do me a favor? I've been in this audience today, been walking around. Let's just take our time, close our eyes. If you can just humor me, please. Humor me with it. Take 3 deep breaths. This is something to do in life, no matter where you are, just to set your body, bring the blood in, activate your parasympathetic nervous system, bring oxygen to the brain. Just 3 of them. I've looked at this room. It's a beautiful room. Take one more. Before you do your last one, set your intentions. What's your day about? This day is almost over. There's one more to go. Thank you for that. Okay, I want to bring this community together. Sorry, I'm a bit of a roamer on stage. Arcadian, what do we stand for? Well, we're an investment firm. We have about 55 companies today, all throughout the world in this industry, and we serve them, just like we're going to do here. Arcadian is a firm that has operations in America, corporate out of Los Angeles. We also have Arcadian Latin America. Pretty fired up about what's happening in Mexico these days. Are you guys familiar? That will be the largest market in the world pretty soon. It's actually already legal if you ask Congress, but Supreme Court, but the Congress and the senators can't figure it out. So here we are with Latin America, and a lot's going to happen there. And then we have investments in China and the largest operation in Africa. And here we come to Europe. Okay, so that's Arcadian. We're an investor. We like growth equity. We want to pour into you and build a company. And we've been doing that to a very high level. Friend, look at that energy right there. Thank you for that, man. This room needs to be uplifted. That's what we're doing in this space coming out of this sickness, is healing the world. Hope you don't mind my energy, but this is the way I choose to live life. We work hard and we pour into people, and that's Arcadian. And to do a little better job of that, Randy is going to play a video. Thank you, friend. Is that working? Okay, well, that's a lot better, I think, than having to have somebody explain it. Thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate you. I know you said that was a large file, and probably the team got it to you an hour ago. So thank you for doing that. And we wanted to do that because this isn't about talking about us today. You heard from a lot of experts. But what we're going to tell you about is what an investor is supposed to do for an industry. And as this one matures, what we're committed to doing here as well. And so the reason I asked you to set your intentions earlier is because, do you know why they call it the present, this moment, mindfulness, being here? Because it's a gift. It's a gift. It's the greatest present we were ever given. Whether you're a science person, you have two brains, right? One with which to think critically and one to think creatively. And guess what? You're designed to think about both 50% critically and 50% creatively. There's balance there. Your body, it's homeostasis. That's why we're all in this industry, isn't it, Giada? We're here to bring health and wellness to people. And so this is all about balance, and we wanted you to be balanced coming into this, to end your day. We're going to have a little party after, they say. So hopefully you enjoy that and some of our information. But now for some informative details. 4 things to pay attention to as an investor right now that we are really excited about. Well, the industry growth. Have you watched the revenue? In America, I don't know, you do data better than me, but we have, I think, $25 billion in revenue this year, and there may be 30 in the world. So, this is growing, and through 2020 at a 60% revenue number. Is that right? In the year, what's that? Right, and then the years before that, before coronavirus, we were growing at a 23 to 30% in revenue number. Find me another industry doing that with these other things. On top of that, a similar growth in taxes. Do you know how much taxes we're paying places that legalize this? A lot, as you know. On top of that, jobs. All these tech companies that are doing great things, not finding a tremendous amount of real jobs there. This is a consumer industry built from a commodity, so it's going to require a lot of infrastructure. And so we're happy to report the jobs are growing at a tremendous clip as well. On top of that, get ready for a bear market. We're in the longest bull market in history, are we not? Cycles have to happen. There's no way to not have a cyclical market. It doesn't exist. It's a test of psychology. And so it will happen. And so get ready for a place that is going to be very excited for an industry that is credit worthy when legal. Think about all the infrastructure, the assets. This is an underwriter's dream in a bear market. We're getting calls already to manage debt and credit because they can't predict where they're going to find yield. It's going to happen at some point, and this industry is only going to be more interesting. Assets, credit worthiness. Banks are going to need us more than they want. So these are 4 areas to really pay attention to that we're seeing be very instrumental in bringing in the institutional class. So really 2 groups we want to talk to today. And frankly, this is what at Arcadian we do really well. We serve our investors, resource providers. So if you're in this room and you are a resource provider to this industry in some way, will you raise your hand? Okay, well, our friend Nick, of course. Tremendous to see you, friend. We've been doing this for a long time, haven't we? Thank you for being a partner. Anybody else in here an investor? Well, of course, chairman and CEO of a public company too. And you bring a lot of resources to this space. Anybody else? Okay, well, of course, Bo, and what a great job Bo did earlier. We've worked together at a number of places, and I encourage you to spend some time with Bo. If you are a resource provider to this space, we'd love to hear from you. IR at Arcadian Cap or ArcadianFund.com. And our commitment is to serve you. It really is. In this industry, and if you look at an emerging industry throughout history, you need to be hedged, okay? There are a lot of amazing companies here. We've seen them all over the world. The interesting thing is, pre-institutionalization, you see a highly fragmented space. And so it needs to be put together. If you go back to the 90s and look at Google or Facebook or Apple or Amazon, any of these companies that end up being who they are today, go look at the cap table in the early days, the A round, the B round, the C round. You're going to find Andreessen Horowitz. You're going to find General Catalyst. You're going to find Benchmark. And so ultimately, It's the investor's job to manage capital, care about companies, invest throughout the whole supply chain of an emerging industry, and put it together. See things from a macro level. And so if you're an investor here, definitely pour into these companies, but I would encourage you to reach out to the top 5 or 10 investors that have groups doing this in the world and think about that as an opportunity. But on the other hand, our real job is to provide return to those investors. And so if you are here and you run a company and you're looking for resources, raise your hand. Okay, there's got to be more of you than that. So that means everyone else in here is doing what? Because you either have resources you want to give to this industry or you need them. And in either way, it's okay. You come to Arcadian and we're going to listen to you and figure out a way to pour into your needs. But if you're an investor, we have several funds in several countries, and we would love to offer those to you if you're an accredited individual and believe in this. If you're a company, well, that's what we're here to really do. And we do that through a multitude of funds, like Nick. Nick is called, his name actually is for multi. There's a whole bunch of what he does as well. But we're here to address each opportunity individually. And so our investor team, you can reach them at investments@arcadianfund.com, which is not up here. But if you have a business and you'd love our team to look through one of our funds to partner with you, please call us. Please email us, investments@arcadianfund.com. And the reason, we will never let anybody not be heard. I promise you that. Never. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Set those intentions when you come in. Do this the right way. We're building something real special here. If you're in this industry to trade in and out of it, we're going to find you. We found you before. And you're going to be probably not too happy with the result, because this industry is about community, friends. I promise you. And it won't be any different here. Ultimately, the winners are going to do it together. We were just talking about that, weren't we? We have companies that are in the same category that are trying to figure out, and they're public, and they want to work together. That's what this is about. That's what we expect our companies to do. And please reach out to us if, in fact, you'd like to have our team a part of yours. We would love that. There are 3 main phases to this industry. And as this one develops here, think about these. And that is the fundamental aspect, the core, the foundation. And what we've seen in other markets is that would involve cultivation, retail, manufacturing. These are very sensitive in different places, and it has to be figured out for there to be any industry. And so we think about that today in most places in larger markets as credit and debt. Here, we're going to be providing equity for that line of business. So just some more information about the capital we provide. And in this market, it would be equity. If you're in the US or a larger market, it would be credit and debt from our perspective. Those multiples on valuations won't get any higher than they did in 2017 and 18 probably. You had agriculture businesses trading at 100 times revenue. I mean, that's just not the case, even in an industry growing 40 to 60%. So that has been corrected now, and there's opportunity for credit and debt there, we think, in the US, and equity here as this one builds. The second phase being, well, the B2B side. This is the picks and axes of the industry, if you will. If you're a gold industry analyst, you look at the value of gold, the industry that takes it from the ground to the consumer, and ultimately what the use is for the consumer. And that's the third aspect, which is B2C. So all these we see grow in a little bit different ways. We're looking at all of them here, and we encourage you to reach out to us if you're involved in any of those aspects. One of the biggest things I think that we have to think about in this space is the ESG component. Here we are in a world where all of these industries that are large and scaled, they're trying to figure out how to reverse engineer, how to think about the earth, how to think about animal welfare, how to empower women in the workplace, how to think about minorities in the workplace. Well, the great thing about this space is we get to do that from the beginning. And so as you build this space here and as you come across other people in it, encourage people to think this way. It's an important topic for us at Arcadian. We ask all of our companies these questions in order to verify certain operational procedures that they have. And so please do think about that aspect as you build this industry. And if you come to us, we're going to ask you about it. And try to track it. It's hard to do, but we're going to try to track all of those characteristics. Because we believe that if a market's about psychology, then what you're noticing as the 70-year-old community and the 60-year-old community and 50, as these decades continue to grow, the thinking behind the younger generation is not just financial. There's other things that motivate it. And so watch these markets change throughout the rest of your lifetime. There's a third component. It's not just, is it cheaper? Is it better? The markets now, the people that make decisions with that capital that are continuing to grow up and take over their father or grandfather's capital, they're asking themselves, is this better for the world? Is this better for me? Watch the markets. Watch the psychology behind it. That's why you should be encouraged. What you're doing right now will continue to matter. The thinkers behind the people that provide all those resources think differently. At the end of the day, we don't want to take a lot of your time. The way we think here is that this is about moving forward in either fear or faith. That's the future. You realize everything that ever happened in your life before this moment only lives in your head. That's a fact. Everything that hadn't happened yet also lives in your head. In the form of faith or fear, really. And so why not choose hope, faith in what you're doing? It's working. It's working. And so, in some sense, you think about this as, it's not what the world does to us. It's about what we do to the world as individuals. And so, if you don't believe me, just think about how data flows, right? Through the pyramidal cell, into the brain, the only way in and out, and then ultimately there's a chandelier cell. It's there to look at repeated negative data patterns, and in the event that it does, it starts to close down your neural pathway to enter the brain. And then ultimately, once it gets through, and hopefully you're balanced and mindful, in which case your chandelier cell will open and you'll have a little bit more flow into the brain. It then goes to what, 80 to 100 billion neurons to be processed that could be connected with 10,000 other neurons, creating a neural network that's absolutely insane. And so this is why it matters to be in the moment, because it's the only place you can make a choice. Here we are in this moment. We wanted to just use this time to try to get people excited. You've heard a lot of information today. Be here. All of the answers you wish to find in life are, in fact, in the moment. They're right in front of you if you're going to pay close enough attention to them. And the reason for that is because that's where data is processed. If you sit with the past and future too much, you can't take in data from the moment. Everything in the past and future is in your head again. And so we just ask that you pay attention to the moment you're in, pay attention to the people around you, pay attention to Arcadian. We've done a great job at investing in companies and managing capital for other people. And so if any of this aligns with you, let us know. We hope it does. And frankly, we feel blessed to be here. And that's our choice, to feel that way. Thanks for having us. Appreciate you on the video, too.
Do you have time for a few questions? Matt Nordgren, are there any questions? All right, let's all go home then. Let's hear it one more time for Matt Nordgren from Arcadian Financial Capital.